Yeah, and just to stick with England France briefly is that the England women in the women's Six Nations, England women are playing England or the French women this weekend.
I think that must be in Twickenham because it's a curtain raiser time wise.
Yeah,
it's the Sunday at
so
prior to
double header time.
It probably is. Probably is a double header.
But we're just gonna zero in on it because of like the women's Six Nations is great. I watched the Ireland women get hosed by the England women this year last weekend, which was unpleasant viewing, but like hard to like see anything past that because Ireland are an amateur team and England are very much a professional team, and the England women look great. They really use the ball really well. They put excellent shape on it. The French women also schooled the Welsh women.
Yeah, it was 52-3 or something like that. That was the Leinster Wasps game, but it was something comparable.
So, right, yeah, 52-7 or 5 was it?
Yeah, maybe something like that. But they're both games were 50 short to 1 try.
Yes,
I think.
Yeah. And the main point being, like, if you're going to watch any of the Women's Six Nations, which you should, like, it's a really good competition, but this is the game that is between the two best teams in the competition by a street. So it's like, of all the Six Nations games this year, this is the one to look at to just see how the women's game should be played and can be played, like, and the most advanced it's got.
Outside of watching the Black Ferns, this is probably, and maybe Canada sometimes.
Yeah,
this is
like in World Cup year, it's like those strong teams do emerge, but outside of that,
in the Six Nations, this is your chance to see basically what professional women's rugby 15s rugby can be.
Yeah.
And you don't get it from the other unions for a myriad of reasons. I mean, these are the two richest unions, these are the two biggest countries and richest countries.
So they can probably facilitate it a bit more.
Absolutely.
And we're obviously disappointed, like I think we have mentioned in previous podcasts, disappointed in just the cutting of funding that has gone to the Irish women particularly, because there is an enthusiasm for it. We do fill whatever grounds we're in when we play. The attendances are always good, and I'm always really proud. Like the way we play is always so courageous that I love it, and it's like it feels like looking at rugby from a few decades ago though, because their systems aren't reflecting how keen and enthusiastic they are, but they're also just thoroughly outmatched, and it's hard to see. You can easily see why. Like this England team that came to town last week were so much bigger, so much more organised. The shapes they were running, the deception to some of their play, ball in hand, the ferocity of some of their defence. Like barring a few exceptional players, Claire Malloy was exceptional again, grabbing a load of steals, but it always feels like those heroic wins that used to come in years gone by when we were getting a bit more resources for it. They're going to become less frequent as these years roll on. The same is true for the Welsh women as well. It's really these two teams that are starting to pull away, and that's just professionalism versus amateurism.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I think that's why it's a game to be watched. It's going to be a good advertisement.
Yeah, well, like
there's a lot of great pictures to those games.
Yeah,
there's a lot of you seeing elite level intensity, elite level strength. And a little bit more than that. It's a game that has been probably developing just on account of the amateur factor. It's only recently becoming professional, so it's been developing now at an accelerated rate. But prior to the last couple of years, at a slower rate than the men's game. But you're starting to see shapes and pictures emerge. You're starting to see clever coaching.
Yeah, you're starting clever conditioning, physicality, some really good kicking,
and this is the game to showcase it. And it's an example, as to piggyback on your point there, as why it's a mistake that Ireland wouldn't back this game, because again, as much as we want to see them back sevens as well, and there's always that's with these unions, there's always the trade-off, but there's an actual grassroots enthusiasm for women's 15s rugby that isn't being nurtured, or isn't being exploited,
and it always feels unfair to the players there who give their all 100% of the time.
You get your potential profit return from being a big fish in a small pond, which is what England have now, is that people are going to go and watch them play because they're excited. They're excited by this team. They're excited by what they do to other teams. I'm excited watching this England team play, and France similarly. So this game,
two phenomenal sides. So it's just like it's a great opportunity to see pretty much the most advanced version of women's rugby, that women's 15s rugby we've ever seen, because these are two teams that are, or two unions that have recently pumped a load of money and infrastructure in. They're seeing the dividends now, and like you're saying, the coaching's advanced, the physicality's advanced, the shape of both teams will be advanced, so you'll see some really interesting tactics and some really physical hits as well. And it'll be a great advert for the game, so it really is worth a watch. And the point on sevens that you were touched on as well is, like, obviously the in the context of the Irish union, they made a trade-off decided that sevens with the Olympics in mind, particularly, that was where they were going to put their efforts with the women. They were going to make that professional, and as such, our team last week was shorn of a few of their key playmaking players because they were in Sydney playing a blinder for the sevens.
Playing a blinder is right, but listen, it's a much bigger pond, and like there's two sides to every coin, and like certainly if I was Kenya, I'd be going sevens all day, son. That's the sport we back. But there's actual genuine grassroots love for the 15s game, and not actually that much understanding for the sevens game, which is a shame in this country. That should be built as well, and you can absolutely look to build those teams as back burners. But the priority for generating interest, which is huge, which is what starts it all, grassroots support and backing and people playing and being interested in women's rugby, it starts with the 15s. And I think you should see some of the Six Nations unions being a little bit smarter about that.
True.
And actually trying to nurture a game that the people understand and love and respect and want to see their team do well in.
Exactly.
And also we gotta give the props want to play rugby as well.
This is it. Yeah, there's a place for props. We've made that point before, that a prop is a specific position that's there for a specific role. We need that in the game. There's nuance to the game. We love this game.
I like sevens, but I also like props.
It's true. There's trade-offs everywhere, as they say. But we did really want to make a point on that, though, that just watch that game. Absolutely. As far as it's the best chance you'll get all through this calendar year, through the Six Nations anyway, to see how women's 15s rugby should be played. And that's I don't know how it's going to go because they're two phenomenal sides.
Thanks for watching the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you enjoyed that video, please like down below and subscribe for more videos. And please enter the comments section to join our conversation. Thanks.